Hi, everybody. Tim Johnson, and I'm here with Andy King. Dream Center. What's your title?
Executive Director at the Dream Center.
Executive Director.
Grand potentate.
Yeah.
And this is Jake Mills. I don't know if we got a good introduction last week, but you're pastor of what church?
Great Oaks Community Church out in Germantown Hills.
Awesome.
So our church is a friend of Dream Center and
Big time, yeah.
Yep.
partner and all that. So
Thanks for being a guest host here and helping us out in the neighborhood. This is the last week that we are in our old studio, so we're going to be right over there.
Neighbors.
Stone's throw away from Dream Center here, but it's Thanksgiving time, and we realize that when we go through shows like this, we have a lot to be thankful for here in Peoria. I think a quote I heard is, if you own a house in America, you're in the top 5% most wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a lot of great things, and we're dealing with homeless here in Peoria and actually across the country.
Yeah.
We're seeing it a little bit more all over. So
Yes.
you're one of many solutions here in Peoria.
Yeah. We just try to be a piece of that puzzle. We're not the whole puzzle that's, fixing it. There are many amazing nonprofits in this area that we partner with, that we work with. Just our little piece helps the whole picture.
Right.
And so
we're kind of getting a tour of the Dream Center. I've been wanting to say Dream Theater all day today for some reason, but Dream Center. So kind of give us an overview again of what Dream Center is.
So our main mission is impacting families living in poverty, starting with kids and youth. And so for us, there's many organizations, they've got a different strategy to combating poverty. For us, we see that kids and youth, they don't have a choice, okay? Especially in the home where there is poverty, low income, that child cannot go and get a new job to get out of that situation. They can't even change schools. Most of the time when they are changing schools, it's most of the time because of abuse, and they're having to move to a different area. So for that child, we're looking, okay, how do we impact that child's life? When we start doing that, we then get the respect to be able to then speak into the home. And so whether it's kids on a homeless shelter floor, whether it's our after-school programs, whether it's the trade school, we are gearing everything to really impact the child so that we can then impact that home. And so that's been our philosophy from day one, and that's like the filter of what we do.
So what inspired you to get involved with all this?
Oh, man. I mean, a few years back, my dad planted a church here in Peoria, just a few blocks from here, Riverside. And he noticed there were two groups that were coming to that church. There was the crowd that were very missional. They were coming to church to be inspired, to be fired up for the week, to be able to impact their world, impact the community that they lived in. So there was that crowd. But then there was this other crowd that were coming, that were from the near north side and the downtown area, that were people in need. And in that first year of the church starting, he realized, and the leadership team realized, that the need was way too big for one church to cover, that they weren't going to be able to do it. And so how do we create, and their question was, how do we create something that other churches, businesses, individuals could be a part of to impact Peoria as a whole? And so at the time they went out to the Los Angeles Dream Center, which is like, our building and operations by 10. I mean, they bought the old LA hospital, 15-story building, and they knew they couldn't duplicate that, but they could bring some pieces from there, some of the philosophies from there, and then create what is now Dream Center Peoria. And so it started with just volunteers going out and finding the need in the community. As we found need, we started to fill it, and then the ministries just started to grow. to where now we're touching 25, 30,000 people a year through all the programs that we do.
That's amazing.
And so that's how it got started. And back then, you know, I was just along for the ride. I mean, I wasn't on staff at Riverside. I was married and attending Riverside. But then this pull to be able to really impact a city was there. And so about 3 years into Riverside starting, they asked me to be the executive director. And back then it was me and a part-timer, and we were in a cubicle at the church office. And now Riverside offices are in this building, so I get to ask my dad for rent every month. So that's pretty good. So
That is exciting.
So we're on the 7th floor.
yeah.
What is this floor?
So this is one of the 3 floors we have called the Village. Our aim is to take families from our homeless shelter floor and transition them into this 2-year program. And so these apartments are designed to be self-sustaining. They can bring their own food in and that type of thing. But then we have caseworkers working with the families, working with them on budgeting and savings and getting a job if they don't have a job, and just some of the basics, and creating that network around the families here, because a lot of the time that's how people get into homelessness. Yeah. Is things happen in life, including losing a job, losing a home, but then the network that a lot of us have, they don't have.
Yeah.
And so they have to turn to something like a homeless shelter to just to get by. For us, it's not about just getting by. It's about getting them to succeed in life.
Not just a one-night stay, but holistically, how do we help this young family or this single mom get through life right now, but also be set up for the future.
Totally.
From all angles.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you want to give us a tour?
Yeah. So this is one of the apartments. This is the way we do it, just because we're tight on space, even though it's a big building. For these rooms, tight on space. So we've got 2 bunk beds in this room. So this would be for a family, 2 to 3 kids if there's a small child as well. And then these couches fold out for the mom. And so we can create a 2-bedroom without it being a 2-bedroom. Right. We do have full-on 2 bedrooms as well. Mm-hmm. I think the most we've ever had in one family staying is a mum with 7 kids. Oh, wow. That got a bit tight in the 2-bedroom area, so that's about the max. If a family comes in bigger, then we have other partners that we can work with to get them rapidly rehoused quickly.
And you've got like 21?
21 apartments, yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So.
And how full are they?
They're pretty much full constantly. Right. This one, because it's a little bit bigger, rotates a little less. But the 21 that we have are constantly waiting list, that type of thing. So, and again, but the great thing with Peoria is we've really worked to partner with other nonprofits that do what we do, especially the transitional side of things or rapid rehousing. Mm-hmm. So we can then lean into them and say, hey, do you have an apartment, a home, whatever it is? We have a family, with 3 kids and a mom, and so we're able to really move people quickly. For us, if we can get them in the Village, the 3 floors, there's an 89% success rate that those folks will not end up back on the streets. Great. So that's a big thing for us. We'd prefer them staying here just because our caseworkers are working with them. There's a Jesus element that we bring to the program. Mm-hmm. But there are those families that we have to then work with other agencies.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's an end goal. That's the biggest thing.
Big end goal.
They really have.
Not just take care of them for a night. It's try to get them back on their feet and get them spiritually, emotionally, physically ready to go out into the world.
And what we find is as well, then those folks come back and serve. And so it's, there's this complete circle of, I once was there, but I'm going to come and help. Whether it's Mission Peoria One Day or Backpack Peoria, some of the other programs that we have, they can come and help and be a part as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the kids here, you've got after school programs going on. So when these 21 apartments are full, you got a lot of kids that aren't just like hanging out here all day. They get them to school, I guess. There's a bus that picks them up or whatever. And you've got after school ready. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so there's a homeless division of District 150, the school district. So they work with us on getting kids to school. Okay. Even if they're homeless, they'll get them to school. And then when kids get home, we're trying to get mom to get a job, right? That's the aim. And so she may be at work, but we have after school programs for kids. So they'll come in and go straight there. And they'll be there till 5:30, 6 o'clock every night from about 2, depending on when the buses drop off, 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then we have a whole team. We have about 70 kids or so down in the after school program every night. And so everyone comes in, they're doing homework. It's a fun area. But then we can split them up into different electives. We call electives. So we have like a trade school. We've got a mechanic shop. We're putting a woodwork shop in next year. I wish it was next week. Next year. And then creative arts school, photography classes. I mean, just a whole bunch of things. Our aim is to put the kids that come here and the young people that come here into situations that they may never be in again. So we had a coffee program called City Brew. We had 8 kids that were in that program. We partnered with 3030. All 8 had never been in a coffee shop before. And so putting them in an environment that they're not used to can broaden their horizons and perhaps trigger something of, hey, I'd love to be a barista. That's really cool. Yeah. Same with our mechanics. We've got kids now that are wanting to be mechanics. They're 11 and 12 now, but they have a goal already that when they leave school, they want to be a mechanic because Mr. Mike has been investing in them in that little shop that we have down there. So that's how it works. Yeah. And so trying to break the cycles of poverty early and giving them a goal that isn't like what they see around them constantly outside the Dream Center.
Yeah. And the after school stuff and all the electives and the trade school and all that, is that just for the families in the village, or is that's open to the...
That's open, yeah. So we pick up kids from, I think it's 5 or 6 of the schools that are pretty close. Okay. Or they'll get dropped off here from the school bus and then we take them home. That's one of our needs. We're always needing good vehicles just because we are constantly taking kids all over the place. And so that's another ministry for people that maybe like, hey, I have a CDL or I can drive. They could come and volunteer at taking kids home. And it's not just a driver. I mean, we've got one gentleman, Mr. Les. His story is incredible. He made a quote the other week. He said, I started as a driver, but now I'm driving dreams. And his whole concept of being there for kids and being able to really help them on this journey to fulfill some of their dreams. Yeah. So
that's great.
Wow. So where are we heading to next?
Let's go down to that youth area. Does that sound good?
Awesome.
All right.
Let's go.
Come on then.
All right, we're on In the Neighborhood on Peoria Life and with Andy King, the executive director here at Dream Center. And so where are we, Andy?
So this is our main room for our after-school programs, which is called Project 309. Okay. And we have anywhere between 50 to 70 kids a day, depending on activities at school, things like that. And this is like what we call the fun area, the social area. So obviously got the games, table tennis, and pool, and Xboxes, and then
this is a cool area. It feels cool.
And when we bought this building, this was the locker room.
Okay.
So there was a lot of work that went in to convert this. It was actually 4 rooms. There was bathrooms in here and showers, and it was a real state. And so we just took the whole thing and just gutted the whole thing, and just created this big open space. And then from this, there's different areas of the Dream Center, like down the hallway here is a computer lab area where a lot of the kids do homework. Yep. There's printers there. You want to go and see it? Okay. And the lights should come on as there we go. Good. So we've got kitchen area, different classrooms that we have for each night.
Now, at one time, you had a culinary type class.
Correct. We still do that. Okay. In fact, next Wednesday, this is really cool. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So next Wednesday, and I don't know when this will air, but
this will go right after.
Right after. So they've done this already. But at Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before, the the kids from Project 309, the Culinary Arts School, will cook a full turkey ham dinner for everyone that lives upstairs.
Wow.
All the homeless folks will also come to that, as well as everyone that lives in the village. So again, it's that. And the lady who is training the kids was homeless when in the village, is now out, has come back to serve. So there's this whole cycle of we're also teaching the kids not just to come and get what they can get, at the after-school program, but they're going to serve and give back. So
that's one of the things I like about Dream Center is this, like self-sustainability, like where you're having people feed back into the Dream Center, into the Dream Center and everything's connected. It's not like we have people living upstairs and then we have this youth thing down here and they're totally separate, but there's this connection and people getting into a meaningful position of serving, and that's got to be what's one of your reasons for success, I would say.
Well, and it's just what we want to teach folks for life is, it's not just about what we get, but what we can give.
Right, good.
And even we have a rooftop garden on the back end of the building where kids will come in spring and plant, and they'll nurture it, and then, obviously late summer, during summer, there's tomatoes and onions. I mean, you name it, we've got everything growing.
Yeah.
And all of that produce comes back in to here. They will learn how to cook with it, but what they're cooking will also be for the kids in their class, and also for the ladies upstairs. Yeah, so it's that different ways of reinforcing the same thing is really big. So, but this is where a lot of the kids come. They like this room, but it also means they're having to do homework, if you know what I'm saying. But this is our computer lab area, and we have printers here as well. Because a lot of the kids that we work with, they don't have computers at home, and they certainly don't have printers at home. Right. So when they get to school the next day, they're already behind because they don't have the finished product. So for us, we have tutors and mentors that help them with their homework, get it printed so they've got something to present the next day at school.
Great.
Sounds like a lot of opportunities to volunteer.
Lots. I mean, and I'll be honest, this area, the youth program, it's the hardest to find volunteers.
Okay.
And the reason is just time of day, 2:30 to 5:30 or 6. Right. We have some amazing volunteers that even take an hour off work a week just so they can be here. We have some retired guys and gals that come and be a part. But it's a tough time of the day to do ministry.
But if you're listening and you have that time of day open, maybe you're a retiree or stay-at-home mom, your kids are older, can stay home by themselves during that time, or they can come and help, maybe.
Yeah.
DreamCenterPeoria.org. This is a need that we want to fill. So.
Yeah, and just go to the Get Involved area. And we've got a lot of different opportunities on the website. They can see where they can get connected. Good. I want to show you one area, though, of the Dream Center, if that's good. That is a new thing we're doing with the trades.
Yeah.
Have we got time to walk there? Are we good?
Yep.
All right, let's go this way.
So you mentioned you've got mechanical and...
So this is an area that is growing for us. Last year and this year, we started with the mechanics school, teaching kids. So basically, and you'll see it when we get there, folks will give to us motorbikes that they own. They'll give us the parts, and then we have a few volunteers that are amazing at this type of work. And we'll take a child, and it's 11, 12, 13-year-olds. They will strip the motorbike to the frame and rebuild it with the new parts. Wow. And last year they did 6 motorbikes. When we get back there, you'll see a classic car that's back there that they're working on as well. And this next year, we're going to expand that to 3D printing, foundry in a box, which is a thing that Caterpillar are going to be part of what we're doing. And then the one I'm really excited about is carpentry as well. We're going to be building sheds that people could buy, a shed. But the reason why we're doing sheds is they're just small versions of houses. And so we could show kids literally how to be in the construction field. Yeah. So let's go that way.
Some real skills and trades that they can, make themselves marketable as a employee.
Yeah, and it's trying to break that that cycle of poverty. You know, I mean, we've sat with Caterpillar recently. They are really grabbing a hold of this whole trades concept, because what they're looking at is kids could come and be involved here, and some of the basic things that we're teaching them could give them a step up into working at CAT, working on the line, wherever it may be, in the trade side of it.
Sure.
And so and then also their families, some of the ladies could also be, hey, how you doing? Could also be hired as well. So they're seeing it as a real opportunity to really help them as well.
Yeah.
So these are old racquetball courts, right? In fact, at the back you'll see there's over 1,000 prom dresses. And we do an event called Promise of Hope, where we reach out to the schools and say if there's girls that want to go to prom but they can't afford a dress, we put a whole evening on, like a pampering night. So we've got to move them, because these two racquetball courts are going to be where the trade school is going to happen. This one's cleared out already. And excuse me while I find the key.
I came here and played the racquetball when I was a youth.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So this is the garage, motor mechanic room, the first place where we really started to just mess with the trade side of things as far as hands-on. So you can see a few of the motorbikes. So this is what they'll do. They'll pretty much strip a motorbike down to next to nothing, and then they will start rebuilding. You can see the tank there, the filters, and some of it's like basic hydraulic stuff, things like that. So kids are really touching something that they could do for a living in life. So we will take a student that's in here, we will then take them over to ICC, show them their mechanics area where they could learn even more. We'll then take them to somewhere like a Gary Uftrin's service department, and we'll actually introduce them to a gentleman that may be earning $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in doing this.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the lights come on. Like, wait a minute. Whoa. What I'm doing at 11, I could be getting that. You know, and obviously it takes time. We tell them that's not like the first day.
But it gives them a goal early on.
Big time.
I'm going to go to a college that's going to teach me this and get my certification and whatever else, and then jump into that kind of a job.
Totally. And you see the light bulb come on. Like, what I see is not only is the light bulb come on of, hey, I can make money. For me, the light bulb comes on, I can now, as the Dream Center, we can break the cycle of poverty. You know, to be able to take someone to be able to earn a good wage, you're breaking that cycle of, I'm just going to eat my way through life. And so that is why this is important, and the carpentry that we're going to launch, and the foundry in a box with 3D printing, that's a big deal at the minute. And so this is just the early stages of it. You'll see a few bikes that they've done. They rebuilt this Gold Wing, which is that was a bit of a challenge, but they were able to do it.
That's great.
And then these two are working on, and then this is a classic car that they're working on right now. And so we've just put this garage door in. This was just a whole part of the Dream Center at one. I mean, this was a storage room, right? There's nothing going on in here. And so Mike, who goes to your church, came and said, hey, I love messing with motorbikes. We just blew wind in his vision. Said, okay, what do we need to do? We get a heater in here and get things set up. And then he's gone to Caterpillar and shared the vision. And they are like seriously wanting to invest in this element of the Dream Center.
Yeah, that's great.
So
this is exciting. It's great.
And again, it's a volunteer that we were able to place with his skills. I think nonprofits are great at just grabbing bodies. Like, hey, I'm a graphic designer. Great. Well, let's go and put you in, the back end of a room just teaching someone math. Well, he just says he's a graphic designer. Let's do something with that. So we have a photography class. One of the ladies in town has a photography business. She's now been investing in these kids. She takes them out on shoots with her. She pays them when they go on a shoot. So you know what I mean? There's this type of learning, apprenticeship type of stuff. So that's the exciting part of the youth development side of the Dream Center. Going from homelessness, a kid walking into the shelter, into the village, being connected in the whole youth development, to then really being able to break some of the cycles that kid and that young person has seen all their life.
PeoriaLife.com